Hey folks, Dan here, product marketer with the Showbie team. You might know me from such places as your inbox or the little floating head when you get an in-app message. But in as close to real life as we'll be able to get today, I am super excited nonetheless to be beaming back into your devices to give you an update on all the awesome work our team has been doing over the summer months to make it even easier and faster for you to personalize teaching and learning for every student this year. So in our product update today, you're going to hear from a few speakers on our team. First up, you'll hear from Connor. Connor's our product manager for the Showbie team. Connor's going to give you an insight into some of the awesome features they've been adding to make it easier to assess and personalize feedback, to keep track of all your grading and marking workflows, and to start to build a better picture of student learning progress over time. Connor will also give you guys a bit of a heads up into some of the cool features we're looking to add into the Showbie app in the coming months and some of the cool work on the way. Next up, you'll hear from Morgan Patzel. Morgan's our director of product. And Morgan's going to give you a bit of a sneak peek into what we're thinking about working on this year and where we really want to look at improving the app to make it even easier for you to manage all your classroom workflows and to build a better picture of what teaching and learning looks like across your school. Morgan's also going to give you a bit of a sneak peek into two features in the app that we plan to improve this coming year that will really make a difference in the ways you engage your learners. The portfolio and the Showbie Socrative integration are two areas of the app that we've had a lot of teacher feedback about, and we're really excited to improve these to make them even easier for you to track and assess student progress over time. Lastly, you'll hear from me, and I'll take you folks on a quick tour of CRative AI, our newest AI-powered assessment feature in the CRative app. So without any further ado, let's get into it, and we'll take you on a tour of some of the awesome work we've been doing in the Showbie app over the summer to make it even easier for you to personalize teaching and learning for every student.
Hey everyone, my name is Connor. I am a product manager here at Showbie. I'm going to go over some of the stuff that we've been working on in more detail. Let's dive right in. So like I said, we've been really busy this year, talking to a lot of teachers and educators and just getting a sense of what problems are they facing in the classroom and how can we use Showbie to actually solve those problems. So we've heard a lot of great feedback this year around all different kinds of things, whether it's around annotation tools within Showbie, navigation and organizational pieces, improvements to things like portfolio, so we have better skill tracking around student progression, and lots more. So we've kind of took what we heard and then we kind of came up with this year's package. So with that in mind, we designed a few features to really address three kind of key points. And what those are is we want to help teachers assess student work more deeply. We want to help them share more personalized feedback faster, as well as monitor student progress over time. And so what we have first are some grading improvements in the app itself. So first up, we added a new area within the assignment section called the assignment bar. And the main reason for this was to make room for some of these new features, improve the overall navigation, and as well provide access to two of those key functions within the assignment workflow, which is grading as well as feedback. Now you have the option to just directly add that grade within the text box here, remove some of the clicks necessary to add a grade, and just help save time overall, especially if you have a long list of students and you're trying to grade an entire class. So we have two versions of that. One is showing up within the student folder, as well as another within the doc previewer. So it can be more high level when you're just looking at kind of all the posts within students folder within an assignment, or if you're actually even looking at a specific document and you want to be a little bit more contextual. Next up, we added something called grading formats. So when you go to create an assignment, you can choose a specific format for each one. And this is just to allow a little bit more visibility on the different ways that you can grade an assignment within Showbie, as well as just allow for a little bit more structure when you're adding those grades as well. Four main formats that show up here. At the top left, we have the custom entry. And so this is basically just an open text field where you can add emojis, letter grades, anything like that. We heard from a lot of schools that they do have certain emoji systems, whether it's a traffic light or a specific emoji to indicate next steps. So you can continue to do that with this new grading formats in place. Next, we have score or points. And so this is similar to what it was before, where you have to enter the total or the score and the total each time. Now you can just indicate the total for an entire assignment. And then when you go to grade, you just enter the score part of it for what each student got. Next, we have completion. So this one's probably the newest, and what it'll look like is simply a drop down where you click on that and you can choose whether the student actually completed that assignment versus whether they didn't complete the necessary components of that assignment. Sometimes you don't need to give a full grade, but you just need to indicate that they did the work. So this is an easy way to do so. And you'll see that there is an indicator to show a check mark or X for if they completed that. And then finally, we have no grade as a format, because we know some of the assignments that are actually being added in Showbie aren't necessarily homework. They can also be lessons or resources or other types of content. So that might be a use case for when you want to just not have something be graded at all. So yeah, overall, this is just to help make it easier to assign and manage grades for student work so that you can support your students more effectively in the moment and not necessarily worry about wasting as much time doing the actual grading process. And next up, we have some really exciting news. So as I'm sure, been hearing about across the world, especially in the edtech space, AI is a very hot topic. It is something that we've been thinking about for a while, and we wanted to be strategic and thoughtful in our approach towards it to make sure that we are using it in the most appropriate way. And after a lot of listening and feedback and some careful analysis, we decided to focus our effort on using generative AI tools in one of the most important things that you can do for your students, which is feedback. So that is where the feedback assistant comes into place. And instead of screenshots, what I'll do is I'll actually just show that in action for you and what it looks like in the app.
First things first, if you want to access the Showbie AI feedback assistant, first thing you're going to want to ensure is that it's toggled on within your settings. And where you do that is underneath the preferences menu, there's a new section called feedback assistant. And if it's been turned on the account level by your administrator, you'll see a toggle here that you can turn on or off. I will note that the feedback assistant is only available for Showbie Complete customers. So as long as your school is Showbie Complete customer and your admin has turned that on for the account, then this will appear for you. If not, if you're just Showbie Pro, or if it's been turned off by your admin for any reason, then instead of this toggle, what you're going to see is a lock symbol. And what you can do is you can go to any assignment. So I have an example one here around autumn haikus. And then you'll see near the top, we have that assignment bar where you can go ahead and add the grade, which I talked about a little bit earlier. But then you also see a new button called Add Feedback to the right there. So when you tap on that, this is going to bring up the feedback summary. And you'll see there's a little comment box, and this is just an opportunity for you to provide any initial thoughts on how the student did, give any further context to the grade and the assessment that you provided, or provide any actionable next steps for the student. So you can go ahead and type this in and just post right away if you just wanted to give high-level feedback on how they did on that assignment. Or if you actually want to use the AI function, you'll see that grade out button that says improve it. Because it is an assistant, it still requires you to be in control and add that initial commentary there. So from here, we have that haiku assignment. Beth did create a haiku for us, but she had all the endings of the lines rhyme with each other, which is actually something we wanted to discourage when creating haiku. So from here, I'm just going to say, good job. Don't rhyme the lines though. And that's just the initial feedback there. You see I can post that feedback right away, but otherwise if I tap on the improve it button, this will go ahead and bring up the feedback assistant. So from here, you'll notice that there are kind of two sections that pop up. First at the top are the suggestions for improvement. It looks at that initial feedback and then it provides 3 suggestions on how to make that feedback a little bit more comprehensive and higher quality. Provides here are to encourage creativity, clarify your feedback, as well as personalize it. So this will be generated each time and it does change depending on what you put in. But then what it also does is it takes those 3 suggestions and puts it into action with an example piece of feedback. So you'll see that at the bottom here where it talks about how they did on the autumn haiku. You'll see that in parentheses, it does give opportunity for you to provide specific examples of how they did. And then if that does look good to go, you can go ahead and click on insert to add that into the feedback summary. If you're not happy with it for any reason, you can tap on rephrase. This will regenerate both the suggestions as well as the actual piece of example feedback. But like I said, if that is good to go, you can tap on that to insert. You can go ahead and make any further adjustments as you see fit to make that a little bit more personal. But otherwise, once that's good to go, you can tap on post feedback. And where the student will see it is that there'll be an assignment bar on their end, and it'll pop up very similarly to how it shows up here. And then you'll see that you do have the option to revise it if you want to as well. You are only able to add one piece of feedback at a time at this given moment. We are kind of laying the foundation to allow teachers to provide multiple pieces of feedback, so you kind of have that whole history of feedback, as well as allow for the students to engage back and comment back towards you. This is just laying the groundwork for a dedicated space where all that feedback can live in one place. So hopefully you'll kind of see further iterations of that in the future. Like I mentioned before, you can do this high level within the student folder, but you also have the opportunity to do it within the actual doc previewer itself. So if you tap on the grade button, that'll bring up a little mini version of the assignment bar, and you have the option to provide feedback from there. But that's essentially it in terms of the actual feature itself. Again, what we're trying to do here for teachers is allow them to share more feedback efficiently and more often to really help improve the consistency of that feedback, to make it a little bit more actionable for your students. And then hopefully that just saves time so that you can get that done a little bit more quickly, save some time so you're not spending Sunday night marking on the couch.
A few other new things that I want to call out that go alongside the feedback assistant are some new fields both at the class and assignment level. So the main reason that we're adding some of these in is that we want to help improve the reliability of the AI to help generate relevant and high quality feedback, as well as just improve the overall data of the classes and assignments that are happening within Showbie, so that we can surface that information to you, especially for administrators, in a meaningful way. And so what that actually looks like is in the class settings, there are two new fields called subject and year group. From here, they are both drop downs where you can help indicate what subject you're teaching for this class, as well as the year group that it is for. So whether it's year group 4 versus 9, whether it's language arts versus math, that sort of thing. Like I said, initially this is being used for the AI so it can kind of take that into account and make that a little bit more personal in the output that it's generating. And then for the assignment description, this is a free-form field where you can enter any details about the assignment itself, any instructions that you have, that sort of thing, just so that the AI can, again, reference that when it's trying to think of responses or feedback that it wants to generate. So those are kind of the initial use cases, but there's definitely ways that we can utilize these in the future, whether it's organizational around classes or things within portfolio, or if it's even around just the data that we want to show within things like school analytics. So everything I've shown right now is in development, and it should be in the coming days. So definitely look forward to trying that out right away and letting us know what you think, what your feedback will be. But there is more to come. And so we are hard at work to bring more functionality even within the coming weeks. So I just wanted to give a quick preview into what that's going to look like. So first up, we have a brand new functionality called assignment status. And this is another part of the assignment bar that's going to be added and is really going to be a way for teachers to get a better sense of where their students are at any given moment within their assignment. This is a status that both the teacher and the student can adjust. Primarily for the students, it's going to be for them to indicate once they're working on something or once they're fully submitted that work for the teacher to look at. And then from the teacher perspective, it's for when they're looking at it, whether it needs to be handed back to the student for further revision or if it's kind of fully done and kind of returned to the student for them to kind of reflect on. And so you'll see that drop down here, but you'll see that depending on what status is chosen, there'll also be an indicator in the student list so that you can actually see when you're looking at that list where each one is at, with whether Beth Murphy is still working on her assignment, Andy, you've already looked at and given back to them for further revision, Oka has actually submitted and is ready for you to look at it, and then Emily, is fully finished in terms of handing it in, but then also you've looked at that and handed it back to them. So this is hopefully going to give you a better sense of where everyone is at without needing to go individually into each student folder. And of course, there will be some aggregates around that for each assignment, so that when you're looking at assignment lists within a class itself, you can kind of see how many of your students still working on it versus how many of them have actually handed that in. So more details around that to come, but that also will ultimately culminate in assignment overview, which is an existing feature that is really helpful in terms of monitoring that student progression, but it is a little bit buried and people aren't necessarily as aware about it as we would like them to be. So we're making that a little bit more visible and adding some improvements to make that even more impactful. One way we're adding that visibility is by adding a new view overview button when you're looking at the shared items of any given assignment, rather than needing to go back to the class itself. Once you're in an assignment, you can click on this. It'll bring up that assignment overview and show the current assignment you're in on the leftmost part of the table. But then you'll see the actual improvements that we're adding in there also show up with those new indicators and grading formats. So it's just a lot more insightful information when you're looking at that overview to get a better sense of like whether stuff that's in progress or stuff that's been graded, where everyone is kind of sitting, and gives you a little bit more actionable insights into what you need to do next or where everyone is at. So like I said, stay tuned. That should be coming up very shortly. It is still part of the back to school package. So you should expect more details to come around that in the near future. Thanks, everyone.
Hi, everyone. My name is Morgan Patzelt, and I am the Director of Product here at Showbie. Today, I'm going to be talking about what is to come over the next year within the Showbie product. So, over the past year, we've been working hard to get Showbie embedded across schools and districts. Throughout that work, we've been talking to and working closely with educators, school and district leaders, and educational partners. We've heard a lot of feedback about big picture challenges supporting the day-to-day tasks associated with teaching and learning, and how our platform can adapt to better meet your needs. I've been super proud to hear about lots of great things within the Showbie app that help teachers like yourself deliver incredible personalized learning experiences for your students. But we always know things could be even better. So with your feedback and with a few small tweaks, we can make the features you use and love every day with Showbie more intuitive and impactful when it comes to your teaching and learning workflows. So that's where we want to spend our time this year. We want to take what's already in Showbie and continue to build upon it to make a real difference in your classroom this year. One area that we've heard a lot about is the portfolio feature in Showbie. We want to make some improvements to this feature to better collect and connect the work from your classroom with the wider community of support surrounding your learners. We also want to improve the portfolio so that it can capture each student's learning journey over time and create a space to have a conversation about the feedback you provide to your learners. So from a primary teacher perspective, that might look like more flexibility when it comes to tracking student outcomes against curriculum standards. Or for secondary teachers, making it easier for students to build a portfolio of exemplary work to keep as a learning resource and to prepare them for the next steps in their education. Another area of the app we want to make improvements on is the Showbie Socrative integration. So whether you're launching smaller formative assessments or managing formal exams, we want to make it simple and seamless to provide assessments and collect rich data and insights that help inform best teaching and learning practices. The assessment data and insights is something we believe is valuable beyond the classroom as well, and is useful for both educators and school leaders. We fundamentally believe the best technology starts with pedagogy. So with your feedback, I'm excited to get to work with our team and make Showbie even better. So starting with some improvements in these key areas of the app, we'll hope we'll be able to provide you with a better narrative around student progress. Paired with richer assessment analytics and insights, we hope to help you, as well as other educators, families, and school leaders, to demonstrate evidence of learning over time. As always, though, if you have any ideas or feedback on the Showbie app, please reach out and give us a shout. I hope you have the very best year.
Hey folks, me again. Super excited to give you guys a quick tour of CRative AI. So If you're familiar with Socrative already, that's great. If you're new to Socrative, Socrative is actually a Showbie product. It's an app that we have designed to help effortlessly assess and engage your students while visualizing learning progress in real time with instant results. Now, getting started with CRative AI is as easy as just a few clicks, and I'm super excited to show you how our CRative AI product has actually really made it easier for you to create and distribute assessments. So to get started with CRative AI, simply head on over to your library here in your CRative app, and it's as simple as tapping or selecting on Add Quiz. So from here, you've got your standard menu. This is where you create all your quizzes in Socrative. And the one we're going to look at today is Generate Questions. So this is the first of 2 AI-powered features that we've added to the Socrative app. So Generate Questions is where you can add a prompt, and our AI model will create a series of questions for you. And from there, you can pick and choose those questions to add them to a quiz, and then instantly share that quiz with your students. So let's just throw in a quick prompt. I will copy paste this one. I've already made this one. So let's say we need a quiz for a year 5 history or class. Maybe we were learning about Florence Nightingale, and we want to make sure these questions are aligned to the curriculum that we're delivering. So you simply add your prompt. Try and be as specific as possible. From here, you can select the question types you want to be generated. So we can have a range of options from multiple choice to true or false or short answer. Let's just stick with true or false and multiple choice today. And you have the added option of being able to generate explanations for students. I'm going to select, let's say, 10 questions. And from there, it's simply as easy as tapping on Generate. So the AI model will take all that information that we've prompted it, take the number of questions, the types of questions we want, and it will spit them out back here. And there we have it. So we have a bunch of options to pick from. The cool thing about this now is you can go through these questions, review them, make sure they're aligned to what you were teaching your students, what you hope to assess from their learning of this particular unit. You can either add all the questions in one go if all the questions look good by simply selecting Add All Questions at the bottom, or you can add individual questions if some of them don't look quite like they're ready or quite where you want them. So we'll go ahead and just add a few of these questions. This one looks good. This one looks good. This one looks good, and let's say this one looks good. So once we've selected the questions from the generated questions we want, it's as simply as easy as tapping Done. And from there, you can go in and actually modify these questions if you want to make specific changes. It's as easy as popping in here, tweaking some of the words, whatever it may be. Again, you can review these and double check them for accuracy. But from there, your quiz is done. You can save and exit, give it a name. We'll call this History Quiz 1, and you can save that quiz, and this quiz will now be saved in your quiz library, and like I said, you can easily share this with students. The next CRative AI feature I want to talk to you about is copy-paste questions. So once again, starting from the library tab here, you're going to want to head over to Add a Quiz. And from this quiz creation menu, you're going to want to select our second AI-powered feature, Copy-Paste Questions. So what copy-paste questions allows you to do is import all the content that you may have living in other places, whether that's Microsoft or Google Forms, or PDFs that you've had lying around that you've been using to copy and paste quiz questions from. What this feature allows you to do is take all of that content and quite literally copy and paste it into our generator here. It will parse through all that content and format it into a Socrative quiz that you can then instantly share with all of your students. Let's say this week we were learning about the US Constitution, and I've been using the same old PDF quiz forever, but I want to put it into Socrative. I can copy and paste all that content right from that PDF document. And as you see, it's entirely unformatted when I copy it in here. It's just a straight copy from that PDF document, and I can simply select Add down here. And what copy-paste questions is going to do is it's going to peruse through all that content and then format it into questions that we can add to a Socrative quiz. And there you have it, just like that. It has gone through, it has parsed through all that content. It has added all those questions right to my quiz, and I now have this quiz in my Socrative library where I can reuse it, share it with other colleagues, and easily use it to assess student comprehension of this particular topic. And just like with Generate Questions, you can also go in and just make sure these questions are accurate or where you need them to be. You've got the power to go in and edit these and tweak things if you need to finesse these questions a little bit, and then simply save all your questions. name your quiz. We'll call this recap quiz. And you can save and exit. And this quiz now lives in your Socrative library, like I said, that you can share instantly with students, or you can pass around to colleagues who are maybe also using the same type of assessment. But it really takes a lot of that pain out of that initial quiz creation and out of copying quizzes from other places, and allows you to build one consistent library for all your assessment resources. Okay, the third Socrative feature, this is a bit of a bonus feature, but the third Socrative feature I want to cover today real quickly is embed video. So this is the most recent feature we've added to the Socrative app. This is a great tool to help you create more engaging and more impactful assessments for your students by bringing in video content that you might have used in a lesson, or content that maybe piques the curiosity or helps with recall of specific concepts that you want to assess. So embed video is as simple as adding a link from your favorite YouTube or Vimeo resources. And you can do that by simply editing a question. So I've got a quiz here already. Let's say we were covering geomagnetic fields this week. We're learning all about solar winds and the aurora borealis, something that I think would be a little more impactful if there were video elements to help sort of inspire some engagement with this quiz. So embedding a video in this quiz is as easily as selecting the embed video option. Previously, you could add images. Now we've added the option to go a little bit deeper and add video. So we'll select this little button here. We're going to paste a video that we used in class, let's say. And one cool aspect about this feature as well is that you can actually highlight specific segments of the video that you've embedded. Let's say you want students to focus on maybe only a specific component, or you don't want them to watch a whole YouTube video during their quiz because obviously you'd run out of time doing your quiz. You can just drag these little sliders on the side, and this allows you to focus in that student attention on this specific component of the video. So only this component of the video will play in this question. So we've embedded our video. We've selected the highlighted portion that we want students to focus on that covers the concept we're testing. And it's as easy as simply embedding video and saving that in there. And like I said, you can pull video content from both YouTube and Vimeo. These were two common resources that we heard a lot from educators where they were using these platforms to share assessment content that helped them provide deeper explanations or questions that they wanted to assess. So that's embed video and highlight video. This is a great little teacher joy feature, and we hope you put this one to use this year. So that's it for the Socrative tour, providing some updates on Socrative AI and our new embed video feature. And we're super excited to see how you put assessment to work this year in your class. All right, folks, that's a wrap on our back to school product update. As you can see, our team's been busy over the summer months, adding a ton of value to the app and really thinking about ways we can improve the quality of the Showbie experience, not just for educators, but for school and district leaders, for students and for families as well, using the product every day. We hope you've had a restful summer and that you're as excited for classes to resume as we are. As always, our team's here to help you throughout back to school and the entire academic school year. And if you ever have any suggestions or ideas or feedback on ways we can improve the Showbie app, please don't hesitate to reach out to us directly. We love your feedback. We read everything that comes in. And I'll leave a slide with our contact information at the end of this video if you ever want to reach out to us directly. Once again, have a fantastic school year. We're really excited about back to school this year, and we're really excited to see all the ways that you folks put all the new features we've been adding into the app to work this year. Thanks so much, folks. Until the next time.